Hey, you're listening to Soul Psych with Shlomi Balsam.
Welcome to episode 1 or 2 or something or other. Let's rock it.
0? I think this trailer is episode 0. Can you imagine episode 0? When I signed up for my first bank account, and the lady chose what my name was going to be, my login, whatever, and she typed in Shlomi Balsam, and I had to have a number. What number do you think she put down?
Well, I'm going to get 0 now. Baby.
0!
I'm not a 0.
Right, exactly!
I'm going to have lots of money in this account. Not 0 money.
I was like a 9th grader, but I was like, really? You went with 0? Definitely 1. I'm number 1. I'm not. Or like.
She meant 1.
She meant it?
Yeah. She was
finger
assuming.
slips?
No, she was
0
assuming
and 1
that
on
there was a
opposite
1
sides
before.
of the people. You know?
She was putting the 0 after the 1.
What?
Because the 0 before the 1 or the 0 after 1 makes a very big difference.
That's the yichus thing, right?
Yeah. So she was assuming you already came with the 1s, you're just adding 0s.
Yeah. I like that. It's good.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah.
First
What
episode.
do you mean welcome? I'm welcoming you.
Thank you.
Whatever, it's confusing.
I was giving you a cue.
Oh.
Welcome.
Welcome, yeah.
Thank you.
So what are we talking about today?
I think we'll kick off with Bitachon because it's relatable. Right? People know pretty much.
You know the thing about
what
Bitachon?
Tell me something about Bitachon.
The only people who want Bitachon, do you have the sense of you need Bitachon when they have a problem? If you just won the lottery, you don't come to look up Shiurim on Bitachon. It's like if I need something, then I need Bitachon.
Right. If I was 1 number off in the lottery.
Yeah. Then you have a Bitachon moment.
Yeah. I was waiting in the DMV this week for 5-6 hours.
You need Bitachon.
That was a Bitachon workshop right there.
Yeah.
If you need, you could either go to Chinatown or the DMV.
Yeah. I think it's really important. Actually, I once had someone, I did a Bitachon workshop seminar once, right? And I had one of the members there who was having a big issue, and it was like, my daughter's not getting into seminary, and I money, and how am I going to get her in? She's such a good girl, and she needs to get, the whole kind of problem. And what the Bitachon seminar is about is like, if you're gasping for air and you need money now and all of that, like, my message really is Bitachon is not a quick fix to get stuff from God. Like, I'm sorry, I hate to, I disappoint people. Oh, you came to the problem. It's like a bait and switch. You know what a bait and switch is? It's like a marketing technique. You say, "Hey, you want this X, Y, or Z thing? I got your attention." And you push it out of the way. Let me sell you something else. Right? It's called a bait, and then the switch.
Nice.
Like you bait the fish, and they bite, and then you pull the worm away, and you stick a hook in it, or whatever. You get that,
Right?
Okay. So, how do you get people to come to your Bitachon share? Oh, you need money, you need children, you need a shidduch, you need health. Those 4 are the big ones. And you say, oh, so you want those things? Bitachon can get it for you. So people come. They all know that there's some kind of magic with that. And then you say, but here's the thing. You know what Bitachon really is? It's a relationship with Hashem. You're like, oh. But when's the money coming? You know what I mean? So if I have a relationship, I get the money? So when do I get the shidduch?
Yeah.
So how much do I need to invest in the relationship to get my tachlis? So I'm really, right? And this mother was, she's telling me that I'm too late, that I should have started this year ago. So actually, well, that's not the nice way of saying it. It's not that you're too late, but it really would have been good if you did it a year ago. But not only that, something's going to happen, and your daughter will or she won't get into seminary. And what I'm really curious is, after this story is over, are you still going to be coming to Bitachon classes? Are you going to be interested in Bitachon? Because you could start now. And you could say, oh, I was inspired to start because I had a problem. But are you going to stay in the relationship after you get or don't get what you need? Right? So it's really about the relationship with Hashem. Can I read you this email?
Yeah.
That, since I do Bitachon stuff like that, so I get these kind of emails.
The only email I ever got was a woman with trichotillomania.
Oh, wow. I know what that is. I'm so proud of myself. I can't say it. But I know it means you're pulling out ears and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I remember that. DSM, we learned that. Yeah. Okay, so, hi Rabbi Stauber. I've listened to many of your speeches, including those on Bitachon, and really appreciate them. I heard, hey, you heard that? That's the good stuff.
She got your attention.
Yeah, right? Bait and switch. I heard that you help people deal with anxious feelings by focusing on Emunah and Bitachon. So if you listen to this wording, she's actually writing kind of like what we said in our trailer thingy, how like anxious feelings doesn't sound like a religious problem. It sounds like it's anxiety. And you deal with anxious feelings using Emunah and Bitachon. So it's using Judaism to kind of solve a psychological issue, right? It's interesting wording. I think it's true. So I'm struggling a lot lately with anxious feelings, and I'm hoping you can help. You can answer some questions I have. She's got 3 questions. Number 1, I know and believe that Hashem is in control and watching over me, but how is that a comfort if He also watches over people as they go through really tragic or scary situations? Meaning, just because He's watching over us doesn't guarantee our safety. This thought troubles me a lot, and I'm hoping you can help me with it. Right? So clearly, she's looking for comfort,
Okay.
right, in scary situations, and Bitachon doesn't provide that comfort.
So what's wrong with my Bitachon?
That's the question. The first thing I want to say is Bitachon is not about getting comfort.
Not about results.
Correct. If you're saying like, I need comfort, right? So it's coming like I need something, and Bitachon is a way to get the thing I need. Whether I need money, whether I need a shidduch, whether I need health, whether I need comfort from scary. Life is scary, and I want to be calm, inner peace. The what's the name of the sefer? The Chavos Halvavos, that one, right? In Shar Bitachon, he says that the Mahus HaBitachon is Menuchas HaNefesh Shel HaBetech. So it is Menuchas HaNefesh. It is this comfort, this inner peace, right? It is that is the essence of Bitachon, right? The thing is, though, if that's what I want, to feel good inner peace, it's very elusive. Because as this question is, it's not, what do you mean? There's no guarantees. No one says that. Right? Let's continue with the questions, and I want to, continue with the perspective. Number 2, I work on noticing Hashem, thanking Him, and focusing on my brachas a lot. I'm having a really difficult time feeling that Hashem loves me. This is partly from the way I grew up. But I constantly feel like He may Chas v'Shalom turn on me at any moment, and I'll be left stranded, especially on the days when I don't serve Him as I should. How could I change that thought process? So Hashem is really a punishing God. Let's go to number 3. When something tragic and difficult happens in the world, we learn that it's for us to look at our actions. This idea causes me, like each painful situation is entirely my fault, or if I was improving enough, that would spiritually affect others and we wouldn't have these sorrows. How can I stop the blame and guilt and focus on more productive thoughts and feelings? Wow, it's like, first of all, I think it's classic. A lot of people have this kind of thing.
It's relatable.
It's very relatable. And it really does seem like we just need to me it seems like a relationship issue. Like in other relationships, if you're married, or if you have children, or if you have parents, or if you have close friends, business partners, a boss, employees,
mother-in-law,
yeah,
father-in-law,
yeah. So these are complex relationships, right? How do you do that? How do you deal with the problems in the relationship, the things that cause you stress or anxiety?
But you don't have Bitachon in your boss.
Well, how about if you don't have any trust? Bitachon, let's call it in English. If you don't trust your boss to pay you, for example, or that he won't fire you, well, you definitely need to trust your boss. Do you trust him that he's taking the company in a good direction? He's going to be solvent. He's going to make money. Y'all were on the same team. You got to trust each other.
So Bitachon is the bedrock of any relationship.
Yeah, trust is there in any relationship.
You're relying on him for whatever the relationship is.
Yeah, is he going to stay in the relationship? You know, my father, that's all, Yehuda Jacobs, he taught me that the reason why we have other relationships, the reason why Hashem designed the world in a way where we have so many kinds of relationships, is that we could learn how to have a relationship with Him.
Nice.
So we're meant to learn by succeeding in relationships
Or failing.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess we could learn from failures. But ultimately, yeah, I guess the goal is to succeed in them, right? To how to succeed in a relationship with Hashem, or fail in that relationship as well.
Or to recognize when I'm failing.
Yeah, so, like, the first thing like I want to say about this is that Bitachon, the way it's described in Chazal, is like a baby with a mother. It's like a Torah. That's what the Torah describes it. That's a relationship. The baby doesn't have a relationship with the mommy because of any reason. It's just natural. The baby feels comfortable there.
Just going back in the Chavas Halvavos, Bitachon is that sense of calm. Does that mean is that one and the same, or is that like a cycle? Like if I have Bitachon, I'll be calm. Like if I see someone who's calm, it must be has Bitachon. Or if I want Bitachon, I better calm down.
So I think you're asking a question. The question I had when I saw the Chavas Halvavos is that I thought that the result of trust would be calm.
Right.
Okay, but he doesn't say that.
And that goes back to the bait and switch.
That's right.
Yeah, come get your calmness.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal. The Chavas Halvavos says, "Mahus habitachon."
Yeah.
The essence, the definition of bitachon is the menuchas hanefesh al haboteah. Right. So yeah, I was very surprised to see that.
Menuchas hanefesh haboteah.
That's right.
The one
shel haboteah.
It's shel.
Yeah, menuchas habitachon shel haboteah. I think I'm quoting it. Go ahead. Check me out on it.
The reality is that people who have Bitachon are calm. The question is, how do you get yourself involved in that program? Mm-hmm. Is it through the Bitachon or is it through calmness? Because if it's through calmness,
my answer to that is relationship. Do you have a relationship with this? Are you looking to have a more comfortable life? What am I looking for? Am I looking for comfort? Am I looking for money? Or am I looking for a relationship? Let me ask the question this way. If let's say Hashem, excuse me for speaking so crudely, but lahavda, whatever, Hashem, forgive me. If Hashem, instead of Hashem, let's use the word supercomputer. If there was some supercomputer, some matrix, really in charge of everything, and it would be the same thing. If you want to have a good life, you need to be synchronized with the matrix. So there's no love. What's that?
Like be on his side.
Be on his side. Follow his rules. There's a computer program. You got to play the game of the program. If you do things not according to the program, so you got to do these mitzvahs. You got to do these things. So you want to be comforted. You want to get through life and get what you need. Follow the rules. What if the Torah, like, would it be the same Torah if instead of like a real relationship? You don't have a relationship with a computer, I hope, right? That's kind of weird and creepy. You can't have a relationship with a computer, right? I hope. I mean, it's maybe Siri.
We have our phones.
Today we have this, it's kind of awkward. Hi Siri, good morning. Good morning. So let's not go there, please. People are not sure what gender they are. Maybe I'm a computer. They have not a because today you have to sign on. Are you a male, female, or other? Yeah, I'm a computer.
I have a friend, may rest in peace, who identified as a parachute.
Identified as a parachute. Did he carry people out of planes? Like, what's the deal?
I guess I identified as someone with a parachute. You could go skydiving without a parachute.
Maybe that's why he's not alive anymore?
Yeah. That's a short joke, it never existed.
Oh, okay. I get it. Oh, you have a friend who identified it? Oh, I got it. Slow down. You thought he was a parachute, jumped out of a plane. Oh, my God. Okay.
We dissected that well enough.
Thank you. I apologize. Please scratch this from the record, man. This didn't happen. What are we up to?
Identifying relationship with phones. You can have a relationship with a supercomputer.
Thank you. So, if Bitachon is about that I need something, whether it be comfort or whether it be the things that I need, so Hashem might as well be a computer. And then you can talk, how do I get the menuchas hanefesh? Since we know that Hashem is not, it's about love. Hashem wants we have a mitzvah to love Him, and He loves us, and that's kind of what this is about. And it's more like a relationship with a baby with a mother. That's the way the Torah describes Bitachon. So that's the real focus. The real focus is, what does Hashem mean to you in your life besides this? Okay, there's a bunch of problems that this young lady has. But let me ask, if I would ask you, it's something else. It's something else in your life. Is Hashem part of your life in any other way? When you wake up in the morning and you say, Moda Adi, I don't know, is He part of that? Which reminds me actually something that I learned from I guess talk about psychology, my psychology supervisor, who said something really wise. She said to me that therapy is not, when you talk to a client, and the first session should be getting to know the person outside the problem. Because we're not here just to talk about, the person is much more than their problem. So if they come into your session and and all you do is talk about the problem, so you're really just stuck in the problem. Actually, the way to solve problems is to find the power, the empowerment, and the kaiches and nefesh of the person. But if you don't even know the person at all, and they only talk to you within the context of where they're stuck, so that's what you're going to be doing. So meet the person and get to know them outside of the problem also. Right? And I think that's something that we're going to use here. See, that's fitting. We're learning from Psych, right? Can you have a relationship with Hashem outside the thing you need from Him? Right? Now, if you succeed at that, and let's say, I'll just go with that example. Let's say you wake up in the morning and you say, "Thank you, Hashem." I'm sorry, I hate this. You go to that tagline, but it looks whatever.
It works,
right? Okay. So, and you're really feeling grateful for life, and it makes you feel good. You're like, yeah.
I'm genuinely grateful to Hashem.
Yeah, like Hashem, thanks, man. Like, I mean, not man.
Yeah.
Thanks God. Thank God. And if you're feeling like expansive, like in your chest, I don't know. For me, it's like, and you're feeling good. So you have this relationship with Hashem. So then you could feel calmer about problems because you've got this like really cool God that like helps you with stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you know what? I do this at my Shabbos table with my kids, by the way. Here's how it goes. I ask the kids for a Hashem loves me story. Now, the purpose of the story is not to prove that Hashem loves you. If you don't know Hashem loves you, we'll have a different conversation about that. Like, we already know Hashem loves us, and we're supposed to kind of be aware of that. And so it's not. And we know that you mentioned earlier that the problem with a lot of, and I share this problem with a lot of kind of the stuff about Bitachon is all these stories, but every story has a counter story, so it's not convincing.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Oh, and it all worked out at the end. It's very nice, and there are beautiful, inspiring stories. But there's also horrible stories, and so I don't use stories to prove a point. You can't prove God from a story because you could prove that if so, you could prove that there's no God from it, because the world is really, 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 really terrible stuff going on. Horrible, horrible, horrible tragedies. You know what? If you look at the stories that are happening, ouch! It doesn't look good.
Can I tell you a terrible story that I read?
Please! I was just thinking!
Everyone loves terrible stories.
Could you tell me a terrible story?
Everyone loves it's like, you guys want to hear a terrible story? Of course you do.
Yeah. I was just thinking.
And so I read this in a Bitachon book, okay? And most of the stories land up, and it worked out perfectly because they're Bitachon. This one didn't. They lost $25,000. They won a $25,000 check in lottery.
Ura. Okay, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Sure, shout out to Ura. And they lost it. The wife lost it. And
at least it was her fault.
Okay. Yeah, right. Hang on. The husband was sitting through a Bitachon shir. And right after he finished, he's like all psyched up. And there's no proof. He had Bitachon before the shir, right?
Right.
But he got this whole psych up.
Right.
And she gets the call, and she's like, it's gone. It's gone. And he said, actually, it's Min HaShamayim.
Wow.
It's all right. I mean, that stinks, but, maybe it'll turn out, maybe not.
That's an inspiring story.
Yeah. And I don't think they found it. Like, that was the end of the story.
Yeah, wow.
But
so I would want to know, I'd want to know about how that works.
How does it help?
How do you get to that place?
I think we all believe it. Like, we all know logically. Right?
Yeah, but logic, that's the thing about psychology.
Logic.
That's the thing where how do you take your logic and bring it to another place? So I guess I want to talk to you about the method that at least I do know about, and I would love to, this is something that I'm fascinated to learn more about this. The purpose of a Hashem loves me story is not to prove it, but rather to experience it. Because how is trust ever built? I think the answer to that question is consistent positive experiences. If you always have good experiences with someone, you start trusting them. Now, if they betray your trust once or twice, boom, it's over. But if the person is always consistent, yeah, your boss pays you on time every month, you trust that he's going to pay you on time. But if he misses a few times, then you don't trust him, right? And it's like that in every relationship. If a person says they come on time, you trust them that they will come on time. If they don't come on time, you don't trust them that they'll come on time.
It's not all or nothing. I don't want it to sound like, someone breaks the trust once, it's gone forever. Because you could reinforce it, right? If my boss gives me my paycheck late once, and then he says, I'm really sorry, and then he says it'll never happen again, and it actually never happens again.
See, that's,
you could rebuild
the thing, though. It takes much, much, much more positive, and it takes very little negative, because trust means you rely. If he misses, 2% of the time, you're nervous. And he says, but 98% of the time I pay you. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to doubt you, but I do. Like, the thing with trust is we don't know. Right. Trust is about what I don't know. I trust that you're going to do something in it, even though I can't prove it. It's like this miraculous thing, and it comes from this. It's a conditioning. I think it's a psychological conditioning that if it's just happening, we assume it will happen, even though logically I can't prove it. Let me prove this to you. What's amazing to me is that people will get in a car and drive, and so you're driving in your car. This happens all the time, everywhere. People are just driving their car, and they're going like really fast. And then there's 2 yellow lines, and on the other side of the 2 yellow lines, someone else is driving, and a little chas v'shalom swerve, boom, and we just go about and do this. We just drive. What if the other guy is drunk? What if the other guy is texting? What if the other guy is a teenager?
Just homicidal.
Or what if the other guy's all of the 3? Right? And we know, I think the leading cause of death in the United States of America is automobile accidents.
Seriously?
Yeah, I learned about that in when I was learning CPR, because cardiovascular disease is the 2nd leading cause of death. But like automobile accidents is like, whoa, much more. Unless I'm mixing the 2 up. I think it was this one. They had a picture of cars crashes, and it was like way up to the top of the page. So it was like, yeah, a lot of people are dying all the time in car crashes. But we just get in car unless someone was in an accident, and if they have this like traumatic experience,
they don't trust it.
Then suddenly they can't. But what happened? Statistically, something changed. Why yesterday you were like la di da da driving and like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Like,
it's not 100%.
If someone's in the back seat having a trauma, oh, you just have trauma from your accident. You know what I mean, right? But then it happens to the person. It's like, oh my gosh,
right? This happens. It actually.
So what that tells me is it's not logical. It's a conditioning. And if you've been conditioned by good experiences, by consistent, safe experiences, then you think it's safe, even though it doesn't make sense. Right? But if you had a negative conditioning where you were chas v'shalom in an accident, so then your body, your neurology gets rewired, and you're like, suddenly don't trust it anymore. In my mind, that proves that trust is not intellectual.
Wow.
Right? Because statistically, nothing is changing.
We always think that we feel comfortable unless we're put in an uncomfortable situation. And Jordan Peterson pointed this out in one of his older lectures. He said that it's the opposite. We are totally insecure and feel totally uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to feel comfortable, right? And the proof is, you take a kid to the mall, he's totally good because he's with his parents. Parents walk away, he's terrified.
Right.
Kids are naturally terrified.
Wow.
But we have so many conditionings that make us feel comfortable to get behind a wheel,
right.
To drive on our side of the old lines. We find it. Israel, apparently, statistically, more people have died in car accidents than in war.
Wow. And yet we're more comfortable in a car than we are in war, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't usually say this, but thank you for eavesdropping in our conversation. And please eavesdrop some more and click at that place that you need to click. Where on the top, it's on the bottom. You know where it is, man. Do it. I'll see you soon.
Bye.